Okay, I'm working on the front suspension arms. I'm working on getting this this knuckle connected. You can see I already have the suspension arms in place. Now, I didn't go with the stock ball joints when I made these arms. So this would be the stock Polaris joint here. So I went with these guys instead. These are some pretty big Heim joints. Now I need to do a little bit of work in order to get these connected. See, on this, you can see there's that little groove in there. And what would happen is the joint would come into here, and then you put a bolt through the side there, and it would pinch that together, and basically prevent that joint from moving up and down. All right. So what I'm going to do, I have these guys, and I have to modify these bolts a little bit. So these are going to slide in like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to machine that little slot on this bolt so that I can fit the that little pinch bolt through. And I'm going to bring the threads up on this a little bit, and then I have some just some small jam nuts I can put on the bottom there. So I'm going to work on that now, and I'll get this all connected, and that'll be a pretty beefy setup. Yeah, that'll be pretty big compared to the the stock joints. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of work, and then get that all hooked up to the front A-arms. Now I notice on these steering knuckles here, this top surface, it's not flat, it's just left the rough casting. So when I put this on, and get that bolted on there's going to be a lot of it's just not sitting flat. So I'm going to just run a pass on my mill. I'm going to take one of my long end mills. I'm just going to shave that down, get a nice matting surface. Do that on both sides. And then this guy will be able to sit up on there. Sit real nice. Okay, this won't take long. Here's the front suspension steering knuckle or hub or whatever you guys want to call it. Anyway, so I have the joints on. You can see how they attach now. I took those bolts that I had, and I had to cut the threads up a bit higher and then cut the excess off to make them fit. I have my small jam nuts in there. Now, these bolts need to, let me see if I can get this. They need to slide through this hole, and that kind of pinches this together onto the bolt. And I guess, well, in the using the stock ball joints, that's actually what held the ball joint in place and prevented it from like sliding out. But yeah, I've got the nut on the other end. Anyway, so I've marked it down in there, and I'm gonna throw that on the mill, and I'm just gonna cut the little slot so that'll fit through. And then that assembly will be complete, and then we can throw it on the dune buggy. Okay, so I just finished cutting that, so you can see there, have that little groove cut into the bolt. So all I do now is slide that thing in, line it up. There we go, that'll go through, and then I'll tighten this thing down. Come on, there we go. Yeah, tighten that all up, and there we go. Okay, it's time to get this onto the suspension. Whoa, check this out. Another tire on. Man, look at the profile of that thing. Does that look awesome or what? This thing's going to be wide. I think it's going to be 65 inches in the front and about 64 in the back. It's going to be tight through some of the ATV trail gates. So I'm going to poke our heads down in here. You can see the suspension. Kind of see how that's all set up down in there. There we go. Yeah, it came together pretty nice. I need to get a little bit more travel out of my front suspension arms, and the limiting factor right now is the hind joints with the high misalignment spacers. So these are the spacers. I've already turned down some of it to make it a smaller diameter. I'm just going to take a little bit more off, and then I'll throw it in the hind joint, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay folks, here's what I'm talking about. So these are the spacers that go inside these hind joints. I think that's how they're pronounced. I'm not really certain, to tell you the truth. Okay, so they go in there, right? And slide that bolt through. Oh, wrong one. Okay, right, so when this thing moves, right, the more I take off that high misalignment, the more angle you can get out of that thing before it binds up against the joint itself. So I just took another 10 thou off. I had already taken about 50 thou off. So that should give me, I'll go try it out. We'll see how that works out. All right. All right, just finished getting that front shock mount done. And so this is what it turned out like. Two burrs running across the top. The reason for that is because basically this is as high as I can go. If I were to put the bar on top and then put the tabs on each side, I wouldn't have enough clearance for the hood. And as it is right now, it's going to be pretty close. In fact, the top of the shock is going to probably rub on it a little bit. I'll have to angle it up just a bit, but yeah, that turned out not too bad. I was just cycling the suspension, and I have a good 14 inches on the front, and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I have 14 on the back as well. I was really hoping for 16, tell you the truth, but well, that's as much as I can get, so that's not too bad. 14 inches of wheel travel, so that should soak up the bumps pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Just put the tabs on the other side, same spot, and then I'll have the front shock mounts done. Alright, next up is the coolant lines. I need to get the lines from the rad up front here. This is the Razor 800 rad, mounted up front, and I'm going to run the coolant lines down through this channel in here, all the way back to the engine, and get it connected up to the GSXR 600. Now this is the, I have to make some kind of a T. That's a line for the oil cooler. Oil cooler is in there. And then on the other side, this line used to be for the overflow bottle when it was in the bike, but now that's all integrated right into the Razor rad. So I'm gonna basically take this hose, and that's gonna get blocked off somehow. I'm not sure how I'm gonna block that off yet. It's that guy right in there. So I'll block that off. I won't need it anymore. I might actually see if I can get this hose, if I can twist this around just to come out this way instead of wrapping around, because the exhaust header is going to be over on the other side. So I'll see if maybe I can redirect that. I wonder if I can just remount this at a different angle. Anyway, we'll see. But I'll get the tubes bent first and we'll take it from there. Okay, I think I got the coolant lines close enough for now. So you can see I've got two pipes coming up in through here, down through the channel. So I've kind of bent them up and curved them a little. I have to make the brackets, just little holders to kind of hold them in place, and then come down through the channel. Again, they're not perfectly fitted just yet. So this tube here is going to get connected on the end of that hose down in there, and then the other one, let me just go to the other side here. This one is going to come up something like this and then connect into that hose there. And I'll get some frame clamps or whatever you call them, attach these tubes to the frame, get everything nice and secure. Yeah, so anyway, there's another job I can kind of tick off the list. Alright, here's a plan for the front steering tie rod ends. So as you can see, this thing here, it's short, right? This is a lot longer than the stock razor. So what I have, I've got a piece of 3/4 inch rod. What I'm going to do is drill the end out 1/2 inch, slide this up over quite a ways, and then I'm going to thread the other end. This is a 5/8 rod end. So I'm not using the stock one. I'm going to use this. This will get connected up underneath there, and I'm going to make the high misalignment spacers, kind of like what's on these guys. I'm going to make them myself this time. So I get bolted to there, thread it in. That will get attached to there. And there we'll have it. I'll have my lengthened rod ends. Alright, so I'm going to head over to the lathe, start drilling this and tapping it. Okay, just finished doing the lathe work, and here's what I ended up with. So you can see here's a piece of steel that I was just turning on the lathe. It slides over the existing tie rod end, okay, and then the rod end threads into it. Let me just slide over to the other side here, show you. So that's going to connect down there. I have to make the spacers for that guy still. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to take some measurements, make sure I have the steering all set up correctly. I'll mark where I need to weld this guy, and then I'll hit it with the welder. Okay, joints all prepped. I have the measurement set just where I need it. Let's fire up the welder and put these two pieces together. Okay folks, big moment. It's all attached. I'm going to turn the steering wheel for the first time with the wheel attached. Here we go. Ooh. I don't have the spacer in there yet, so there's a lot of play. Oh yeah, check that out. Yeah. Oh, that should be good. Yeah, it should be good. Oh, that might bump up against there. Turn. Well, if I'm turning at full bump, oh well, I can live with that. Wow.